Hi everyone, Cassie here from Primrose Dawn, and today I wanted to talk to you about fold-over elastics. Fold-over elastics are available at many chain craft stores, and they come in many different widths, styles, and colors. The one you've probably seen most often is about 3/4 of an inch wide, and it has a shiny side and a matte side, and it's pretty soft, and which side you use is up to you. When it's folded, it's slightly less than 3/8 inch wide finished. This floral printed elastic came from Hobby Lobby, and it's also about 3/4 of an inch wide, and it's only printed on one side. You can also find some fold-over elastics that have woven stripes in the pattern. And then there's this white elastic is about 1/2 inch wide, and it's matte on both sides. And when it's folded, it's slightly less than 1/4 inch. This one might be a little bit more challenging to sew. Fold-over elastic is normally sewn in 2 passes. The first pass to secure it to the edge of the fabric, and the second pass over the top edge. And it's usually sewn down with a 3-step or a very wide 1-step zigzag. I'm going to show you a couple different methods for sewing fold-over elastic. The only downside to using fold-over elastic around the edges of panties is that I personally find it tends to get a little bit stretched out during the day, so you have to consider that when choosing the elastic for your pattern. Now let's see a couple different methods for sewing fold-over elastic. Now I'm going to show you 2 different methods for sewing fold-over elastic. For the first one, we're going to sew it in 2 different passes, and I chose the white striped elastic so maybe you can have a better idea of what's going on here. When it's finished, I'm going to want the stripes to be on top. So what we're going to do is we have the fabric right side up and the fold-over elastic wrong side up. This will be the inside of the elastic, and I'm going to line up the fabric edge with about the middle of the elastic. You don't want it to extend past the middle of the elastic. Put it under my needle here. And I have my machine set to a regular zigzag stitch. I have it about 3 wide and 2 long. And in this first pass, you're just going to be anchoring down the fabric edge to the elastic, and you want the stitching to stay within this half of the elastic. You don't want it to go past. You don't want the fabric edge to go past the middle. So let's get sewing. Readjust if you need to. And you would also want to slightly stretch the elastic according to the directions in your pattern. Always gets a little wonky near the end. Put a pin in there if you feel like you can't control that very well. Let's see how I did. Oh good, I didn't go over the edge of the elastic. So now we're going to fold the top edge down, and we're going to sew another pass of zigzag. You can either use a regular zigzag or a 3-step zigzag. I think I'm going to use a regular zigzag, and I'm going to increase the width from 3 to, let's do 3.8. Let's put the needle down. And you also want to stretch slightly again. And when you sew, you want the zigzags to pretty much cover the elastic. You don't want them to extend past into the fabric. Oops, see, I'm getting bunched up here. Of course, you will use thread that matches your elastic. I'm using contrast so you're able to see it. Fold-over elastic sewn in 2 passes. Now I'm going to show you how to sew fold-over elastic in 1 single pass. It's a little more complicated than doing it in 2 separate steps, but you only end up with 1 line of stitching on the inside of the garment. So what you need to do is cut your elastic, and you will want to align the edge of the fabric with the middle of the elastic, just like we did before, but put a few pins in to hold it in place. And it becomes a little more difficult to stretch your elastic as you sew, but it is possible. And you will want to put this underneath your needle. And if you have any sort of pointy tool to help you, I use a Purple Fang, which is a tool used by quilters. You could also use an awl, or I've even seen chopsticks, anything like that. You want to use it to help you make sure that you have the edge of the fabric aligned in the middle of the elastic here. So you'll want to sew this a bit slowly. Still have my machine set to a zigzag that's 3.8 wide and 2 long. So let's get going. Pull on my thread in slightly just to get it going here. And take out my first pin because we don't want to run over any pins. And I'm going to use my tool to hold down the edge of the elastic. Make sure that I can feel that the edge of the fabric is aligned with the middle of the elastic. Take out our next pin here. Push on the edge of my fabric. Take out my last pin very carefully. There we are. Let's see how we did. Oh, not bad. Looks like my feed wasn't very even though. Always something to improve on. And that's it. Sewing fold over elastic with 2 different methods. If you have any questions, leave me a comment below. Bye for now.